Who would like to take the first crack? Dan, go ahead.
Sure. I'll make this very, very quick. The NDP have said very plainly that we'd reinstate the eco-energy, the house retrofit program. Part of what we're getting at there is talking about energy efficiency. And so the NDP has been talking about energy efficiency and providing ways for individuals to make better choices for a very long time. We also need to remember when we think of the production of greenhouse gases from oil sands development, currently we're at 2 million barrels a day, but on already approved projects, we'll be at 5 million barrels a day. And so that 20%, while it's representative today, it isn't representative of development that's been approved but hasn't yet happened. And so it isn't fair for us to just say, you know what, the oil sands can develop as much as they want. It's individuals' choices. It's not either or. Because the asset is so large in the ground, and because it will be developed in increasing ways, we need to make sure that we're doing that in a way that's environmentally sustainable and making choices as individuals that are also environmentally sustainable. And it's the role of the federal government to help both of those parties make those choices.
Harvey Locke, you have something to say?
Sure, it comes back to the first point I made. The problem isn't the oil and gas industry producing emissions at the wellhead. And the problem isn't consumers driving cars. The problem is too much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And we need to move away from it's your fault and it's your fault. It's everyone's fault. We built our civilization as it looks right now because oil and gas are phenomenally wonderful commodities. They have super yields of energy. And they have built the civilization that allows us to sit here today in prosperity. So it doesn't help to say it's not the oil company's fault, it's not the consumer's fault. We got to deal with the problem, and the problem is too much CO2 in the atmosphere. So we need holistic solutions to that. That's why I was talking about top-level ideas, like let's think about where we live. In this article I wrote called The Nature of the Climate, where what is the issue? The issue is too much carbon in the sky. There's writers who've talked about ideas like the efficiency resource, which is we could do the same standard of living by using, yes, less material. We don't just have to consider taxes. We can actually design more efficiently if we're committed to that. We could stop the destruction of natural ecosystems. That 20% figure that's the destruction annually is more than if we took every car in the world off the road. Not increased efficiency, but took them off the road. Mangroves being converted, huge carbon releases. Tropical forests, huge carbon releases. Peat bogs, huge carbon releases. Let's stop destroying primary ecosystems. That's a 20% savings in CO2. And then let's start treating oil and gas like the absolutely magical products that they are. They are not bad, they are good. Too much burned inefficiently is wasteful. So let's become more efficient, thoughtful, and have the 21st century society that lives within the Earth's means and still meets a high standard of living. It's a question of vision, determination, and shared goals. Instead of, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. It's all our faults. The solution needs to come from all of us.
Thank you, Harvey. Chris Turner, you have the floor.
Thanks. You know, when I started in on the research that led to my two most recent books in 2005, I thought I was writing about solutions to climate change, and I thought I'd be talking a lot about CO2 emissions and the rest of it. Wound up talking a lot more about cities and how cities work and how you make cities and build them and grow them so that they decrease the amount of carbon dioxide you need to burn in the course of your daily life. And this is not a punitive thing. When we build livable cities, walkable cities, cities that are well served by transit, cities where there are lots of amenities close to where people live and work, what happens is they discover they don't need their cars as much. Not because they're trying to do good, but because there's a better life by not getting in the car. And this is why absolutely front and center in my platform is to talk about a new deal for cities in Ottawa. We have a government right now in Ottawa that doesn't talk about cities much at all. We have a government that consistently fails to fund the kind of essential infrastructure that we know we need. Cities need a lot more control over the money that goes to those projects, and to begin with, they absolutely need a government that understands how important cities are as economic engines and also as greenhouse gas reduction engines. The best way to begin reducing our carbon footprint is to not need to get into a car every day, and you do that by making cities more livable, more walkable, and more sustainable.